Hello and welcome to easyodds.com. My name is Ross Casey. I'm here with the horse racing extraordinaire that is Jake Johns, who just in the last 3 days has found 7 winners, including a 16 to 1 shot.
Actually 4 days.
4 days?
Yeah.
Sorry. 4 days, 7 winners, including a 16 to 1 shot. That's 4 times better than a Donald Trump tip.
Exactly. 4 times less likely than Donald Trump to win the election.
So there you go, that's pretty good. But we're here to talk about the Betvictor Gold Cup, which is on the Saturday of the open meeting at Cheltenham. Without any further ado, let's listen to the thoughts and processes of Jake Johns.
So yeah, this is the first properly big jumps race I think I've covered on this YouTube channel. I might have done one more, can't remember. Don't think I have. Yeah, so the Betvictor Gold Cup very kind of highlights the start of the season. This is a properly really good race.
Yeah.
We had the Charlie Hall last week, but this is also massive, big handicap. At the open meeting, obviously the open meeting is really exciting. Lots of exciting novices coming forward. Altior's probably going to go with fences now the rain's come. Barter's Hill's running on Friday. There's a few novice hurdlers that look quite interesting as well. So yeah, it should be a pretty good meeting. Last year, this race was won by Anna Cotti. Comes back this year. Quite a big price. I don't fancy that much, to be honest. But, yeah. The one I really like is More of That.
More of that, yes please.
I've been banging on about him for quite a while. Well, a couple of weeks on Twitter saying he's too good for this. He's going to be really well handicapped. He is really well handicapped. I think he was 14 to 1. I'm not sure how many people follow me on Twitter, but I think some people got him at 14 to 1, which is really decent price. He's down to a mark of 5 to 1, which is still all right, I think. I mean, he's on Tuesday morning you could get him at 8 to 1.
Okay.
By Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, he was no better than 6 on Betfair. So he's obviously the rain came, and that was really important for him. For him to actually run anyway. So. Yeah, so he's almost definitely going to run now because the rain's fallen. 5 to 1's all right price. He should just be basically much better than these, especially off a mark of 154, which is really, really lenient considering what he's done in the past over hurdles. He's the only horse to have beaten Annie Power when she stayed up, which is an unbelievable record at Cheltenham in the World Hurdle, a Grade 1 hurdle over 3 miles. He has a tendency to blow up. He's a bit kind of fragile. A Gold Cup. I've actually tipped him a really, really early Gold Cup tips. I've kind of mentioned him. He was about 40 to 1 at the time. They have to keep him sound, obviously. That race, it will break horses. So it's going to be a real tough one for him. He's got to get past this stage first. He has an unbelievable record around Cheltenham. 4 wins out of 5 attempts. Pretty valid excuse last time in the RSA. He was travelling really well. All the way around, blood vessel burst, and that can kind of account for the tame finishing effort. That wasn't a brilliant race, I don't think, but he went off really short for that, and he was meant to be a superstar. John Joe O'Neill thinks the absolute world of him. He was saying he's a Gold Cup horse. He was even considering putting him in the Gold Cup last year as a novice.
Okay.
So he obviously thinks the world of him. AP McCoy also thinks the world of him. He's super talented, but he can blow up. That's the problem. Another concern I would have about him is John Joe O'Neill's form is pretty diabolical at the moment.
Okay.
He went through a really bad patch last season as well. In fact, for the majority of the season, he wasn't that good. He then brought it back a bit around Cheltenham, Aintree time, and then it was all right over the summer. Now it's gone downhill a little bit. Hasn't had a couple of winners for a while now.
But this is one of his top horses, right?
This is probably his top horse, I would say, and well, definitely one of them. Yeah, and he and More of That ran. Won twice at Cheltenham, even when John Joe O'Neill was in such bad form last season. So hopefully he can kind of defy that. And he won well. He won twice at this track actually last season when John Joe O'Neill was in bad form. So hopefully he can defy that. I think he might just be, even with the bad form, something going wrong with the yard. He could just be still too good off of 154 for this race. 5 to 1's all right. I cannot see it getting much shorter than that because it would. So I don't know. Maybe wait a little bit and see what happens.
Okay.
But yeah, I would go 5 to 1. It's not too bad. Another one that I like is a much bigger price because obviously the declarations aren't out completely yet, the final declarations. So this one's not 100% guaranteed to run. More of That's not guaranteed to run, but I think he probably will now the rain's come. Village Vic, who will like a bit of juice in the ground. It's rained a lot last night. It's forecast to rain today and tonight, so hopefully it might be on the softer side of good or good to soft. The Hobbs 9-year-old had a fruitful season last season, 4 wins on the trot, 2 of which came at this track. Obviously, he was hiked up the weights for really decent handicap wins. But he impressed on his 2 starts since going up the weights, enough for me to think that he might be able to do it off of that mark. He was trying to force a ridiculous pace in the Ryanair, which he was never going to be able to keep up. Johnson had a pretty poor festival, if anyone remembers. Didn't have a winner. Would have obviously hoped for better, considering he's champion jockey, and he's a fantastic jockey. I'm not saying he's a bad jockey; he's the best jockey around probably. We just didn't have that good festival. Tried to force a ridiculous pace, which kind of left him with basically no chance. But he still finished 9th of 15. The great Vautour, late great Vautour, really sad. But yeah, obviously Vautour passed away at the weekend. He won that race unbelievably impressively. Like his Cheltenham form was unreal. And last time we saw him, he was travelling really well in the Topham over the Grand National fences at Aintree, kind of about 7 or 8 lengths back, travelling nicely. Went off 10-1, got basically hampered to standstill. He got completely surrounded by horses that had fallen, and then he had completely no chance after that. He was still travelling well after that, and he completely lost his chance there. But he was going well enough to make me think that he might have gone quite close. He's got a really, really good record fresh as well, which is another important thing here, obviously. His record fresh reads 1st, 2nd, 1st, 3rd, 1st, so he should be raring to go. He's really decent price, 16-1. A couple of others that I got to mention because they're near the top of the market, and I think they have a decent chance. But these aren't my tips, but these are other chances in the race. Frodon, obvious interest, favourite most of the week after his win at the weekend. I'm not sure what he beat last time. Well, in fact, he didn't actually beat anything because nothing finished other than him. But he
won by default.
He would have beaten them anyway. But I don't think that it was the best race in the world. It was only 3 horses. But he's a 4-year-old and he's getting in a real good low weight, of obvious chance. But 4-year-old, obviously super young. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see Buy-Wise clatter over every single fence, just run straight through him, and then somehow manage to stay on from 70,000 lengths back into 4th. He seems to do that every single race. He stays on so eye-catchingly from the back, and then you just think, next time is his time. But it just happens every single time. It will, and it will happen again as well. He'll come 4th or 3rd. So I have to leave him alone. I've tipped him a few times, but he's not tricking me this time. Previous GLT winner, also trained by John Joe O'Neill, Takin Desoy, isn't without a chance. He was he was a bit out in the doldrums last season, but it was a really encouraging run over hurdles last time, where he stayed on from quite a way back. Quite eye-catching. Would have put him right for this. Obviously, the John Joe O'Neill form is a little bit dodgy, and he has Cheltenham form as well because he won the JLT, like I said before. But I prefer more of that to him, and I prefer Village Vic as well. So my tips are more of that to win at 5-1, and Village Vic each way at 16-1. Hopefully he'll run.
Brilliant stuff. And if you were lucky enough to be following Jake on Twitter, then touch wood, you've got yourself a 40-1 tip there with more of that, even better. So thanks very much for watching. My name is Ross Casey. This is Jake Johns. Don't forget that we have our weekly football videos from myself, which was in profit last week, which was the 10th week out of 11 that we've been in profit for that particular video, and also Jake Johns' tips, just like this one, where we preview the big race of the week. So thanks very much for watching.
1 second. Need to talk about the Breeders' Cup. Oh, absolutely robbed. A couple of times, absolutely robbed. What happened with Highland Reel? Jamie Heffman gave him a ridiculous ride. He looked like he'd gone off like a madman. You look at the fractions in the corner, slow. He's running slow fractions and he's about 10 lengths clear of the field. What were they doing? And then he's a bloody King George winner, and they just let him go, and then just terrible ride from Ryan Moore, but nothing he could do. The chasing pack was dictated at a ridiculously slow pace. Obviously Ryan Moore could have gone after him, but I'm not gonna. He's a pretty good jockey, so I'm not gonna have a go in for that. Tepin, Leperoux gave him too much rope again. Look, I don't know why he wasn't on the pace. Frustrating, but America, but you know, it was all right. Ended up okay on the Sunday, kind of saved it, but yeah, no, I had obviously the winner of.
There's always next year.
That was always next year. I don't know if I'll do Glorious Cup next year. I'm a bit scared of it now. But yeah, I got the winner of the Cork National, so
I think that
Raz de Mer.
I think it might be one for Jeff Bacharach.
Yeah, Jeff Bacharach can do those ones. The American reporter we got.
So thanks very much for watching, and don't forget that Skybet also have a really good offer on at the moment where they're offering a £10 free bet without a deposit, which is always the best kind of free bet. So we'll put a link in to that particular offer in the bottom of this video. Thanks very much for watching. This is easyodds.com with Ross Casey and Jake Johns.